Welcome back, you guys. It's been long. I wasn't feeling well. That's why I had to take a break. And you guys have been so helpful with your support on my Patreon page. Before I show you some of the most exciting traps that you have never seen before, probably, do you still remember the legal trap that arises from the Filido defense or the Italian game? I mean, beginning with the move e4, then e5, knight f3, and then black plays knight c6 or pawn to d6 first. It doesn't even matter. Just to remind you of the legal trap so that you can have an idea on what we'll be looking at in today's video. This is where we go bishop c4, waiting for black to play the top played move bishop g4, pinning our knight, right? And again, it doesn't even matter even if they start with knight c6. Sooner or later, they are going to play bishop g4, so you don't want to play pawn to h3 first. You start with knight c3, giving them one more chance to go bishop g4, which is the top played move in the Lichess database, by the way. They are going to play this because next they want to put their knight on d4. But remember what you used to do in this position. Simply pawn to h3 as if you are trying to chase that light squared bishop. But here is where the legal trap used to happen. Beginning with the move knight takes e5, sacrificing your queen so that if bishop takes, you can simply mate your opponent into like this. Yes, because the king has no way out. It can't go anywhere. I mean, it's checkmate. So I guess most of you guys already know this amazing trap, but today I want to show you something even more advanced for you to appreciate this little trick involving a queen sack. But before I do that again, let's just see what happens back on move 5 if black doesn't take your queen on d1. We saw that bishop takes d1 leads to mate in 2, right? So what if black doesn't take your queen? Well, sometimes you will see your opponents playing knight takes e5 instead of taking your queen just to avoid the mate. But even after this, you can simply go queen takes h5 and it's okay even if they take your bishop, because on the next move you can simply go queen b5 check, and whatever they do you will simply get back your piece. Now material is equal and you are ahead in development with a great position. Maybe your next move will be queen b3, d4, you pave way for your dark squared bishop and then you castle short. It doesn't even matter. Yep, I know you probably know all this stuff, but do you know that there's also the anti-Sicilian version of the legal trap? I'm glad to show you guys. Watch. So you may also try to apply similar ideas against the Sicilian defense. e4 c5, where you develop your queen's knight first. You simply want to play the Grand Prix with pawn to f4. By the way, your knight on c3 and your pawn on e4 does a great job to cover the d5 square. Even if black plays e6 and d5, you will still be fine. Besides, you have bishop c4 coming in the near future, and the plan is very simple. You want to play d3, knight f3 and castle short. Done. However, you will see most of your opponents playing d6 in this position, you know, just playing the normal Sicilian. Maybe they want to play g6 next and develop their bishop, but either ways you can just go knight f3, and what this does is it invites black to play bishop g4 psychologically, of course, because I mean that pin just looks good. However, you just continue with your chess. You want to castle short, play d3 maybe on the next move, and it is in such positions where you are going to see your opponents playing something like pawn to e5, and this is when you can remember your legal trap basics, where you sack your queen to mate your opponent like this. But you know, for this to work, you need to ensure that black has no any checks in the near future, right? So that's why you want to castle short in this line, and next you intend to go pawn to d3. But hey, wait a second, it looks like black can play knight d4, putting more pressure on your knight, right? Well, this is why they say history repeats itself even in chess. So again, you sack your queen. If they take, you simply mate your opponent like this. Same idea with the legal trap. I know these traps look cheap, but you know what? The main idea is to have an understanding that such tactics may occur even in different positions. So always be on the lookout. For example, we see these similar tactics appearing even in the bishop's opening, which is our legal trap number 3. So now it's time for you to hit the like button and subscribe, because you always forget to do that, and that's why we have taken so long to grow as a community. But anyways, you know what to do in order to support this channel. Be sure to hit the like button and also follow me on Patreon, which is my membership site, where you can also find my free E5 defense course that I'm still working on with my team. Yes, so you simply start with E4, and then after E5 you go bishop C4. The bishop's opening, and then black plays knight to f6, simply attacking your undefended e-pawn, right? That makes more sense. But here the move you want to play is knight to f3, sacrificing your e4 pawn, which most of your opponents will gladly take, unless they already pre-moved knight c6. That's why you see knight c6 as the top played move, because most black players expect you to protect your e4 pawn by this time, so they just remove knight c6 anyways. So I advise you to take a bit of time before playing knight to f3, so that your opponent may calm down and see this move. So they are going to take on e4 anyways, and this is when you play knight c3, and if they take back, what do? You simply take back as well. Now they have to worry about their e5 pawn, and that's why they play d6, the top played move. Now hold on, the top played move here is knight g5, which I highly recommend under normal circumstances. But speaking of the legal trap, today I'm in the mood of showing you the patterns of this legal trap, where it comes from, so that you can understand these things rather than memorizing. Right, so at this point you can also try the move knight takes e5 instead of knight g5, and the reason is simple. You have a possibility to checkmate black in 2 in the way of the legal trap. Say if black plays knight c6, you can simply go bishop takes f7 check, and after king e7, this time you don't have knight d5 checkmate, but bishop g5 mate. Kind of the legal trap, right? Black's king has no way out once again, but one may say knight c6 was just too childish, no one can play this. Well, not on Lichess or on chess.com, people play this stuff. In fact, knight c6 is the 5th common move in the Lichess database. Anyways, some of your opponents will take your knight instead of playing knight c6. So rather than taking the queen on d8 right away, just go bishop takes f7 check, so that if king takes, you can now take the free queen. They're not going to do that. They'll play something like king e7, after which you can now go bishop g5 check, same stuff. Again, you are going to win black's queen, just like that. Right. But what if black doesn't take on e5 or doesn't play knight c6? What do you do if they play the top played move queen e7, pinning your knight to the king? Well, the best you can do is just to take on f7 with your bishop first, and that's check. So the king has to move, and then this is when you unpin your knight by castling short. Say, what if black takes your knight? Well, you can simply go rook e1. The intention is very clear. If queen f6, the top played move, there's something like a mate intent here. If not, less than that, beginning with the move rook e8 check, and after king d7, you go queen g4 check, king c6. There are so many ways of killing a rat. You can just figure out how to mate your opponent from here. This does not look fine because of b5, so you need to use your eyeballs wisely. You also can't play queen e4 check here because of this pawn, right? Or the king may go back. So the move to remember in this position is bishop d5 check, bringing the king closer, and then you give a check like this. This is the only way you're going to mate your opponent in no time, like this. So the main idea is for you guys to know that you can actually apply the legal trap basics in almost any opening whenever you have a chance. So it's not just a matter of memorizing moves. And you know what? You can also employ the legal trap ideas even with black pieces. Say after white plays pawn to e4, and then you go pawn to e5, knight to f3, and then you simply go knight to f6, inviting white to accept your Stafford Gambit like this, right? I'm sure you're all familiar with this because of Eric Rosen, thanks to that man. Because your knight on f6 is attacking white's pawn on e4, you will see most of your opponents playing d3, after which you can simply go bishop c5. Now wait a second, Among many other things that white can do in this position is to play bishop g5. You are going to see this move at least once or twice in your lifetime. So here is how you can legally checkmate your opponent using the legal trap basics. So you go knight takes e4 first, sacrificing your queen temporarily, and surprisingly that's the top played move by the way. Bishop takes d8, after which you can simply go bishop takes f2 check, and after king e2 you simply mate white like this. How cool was that? Same idea even with the legal trap in white. But one may say, what if white doesn't take your queen after knight takes e4? Well, yeah, sometimes they take d takes, but this doesn't help either due to bishop takes f2 check. If king takes, you are simply going to win that poor queen, and if king e2, once again you can just go bishop g4 and win white's queen once again, the same way you do in the Nc3 Gambit that I just showed you previously. Another proof that history may repeat itself. Right. And now after getting familiar with the legal trap, you'll find it easier to understand and remember this pattern from today onwards. For example, a similar pattern may appear in the solar gambit, which begins with d4 and you go e5 as if you want to play the England, and after d takes you go f6, gambiting the second pawn, right? So if they take, you simply take back with your knight. What this does is it invites white to pin your knight to the queen. So after they play something like knight to f3 here, you simply go bishop c5. Your plan is to go pawn to d5 in castle shot. This is when you're going to see most of your opponents pinning your knight on f6, at least amateur opponents, and this is when you begin thinking of that legal trap which I showed you at first. So history once again may repeat itself in this way. You simply go knight e4, sacrificing your queen like you do in the legal trap, because after bishop takes, that will be mate in 1, not mate in 2. Anyways, actually, you may also deliver a similar checkmate even in the Budapest if white is not careful. And this is for those people who like advancing their pawns whenever they run into a gambit. For example, you will see most of your opponents here playing pawn to d5, not accepting your Budapest gambit, right? So after this, you can just go bishop c5, and once you see bishop g5, it's high time you remember your legal trap ideas. Again, beginning with the move knight e4, so that if bishop takes, you can simply checkmate your opponent like this. Simple stuff. So now it's time for you to hit the like button and subscribe, because you always forget to do that, and that's why we have taken so long to grow as a community. But anyways, you know what to do in order to support this channel. Be sure to hit the like button and also follow me on Patreon, which is my membership site, where you can also find my free E5 defense course that I'm still working on with my team. This is an ongoing course where I'll show you everything to do against one E4. Right. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.